Hey, this is Ross from the Infectious Groove podcast, looking at more than a few pressings of the Beatles' self-titled effort, often called the White Album. I'm going to tell you the differences between these pressings and go over why each one means a little something different to me, coming right up. So, we're talking today about the Beatles' self-titled effort, which for the remainder of the video I'm going to call the White Album. I know people get picky about that, but I've always called it the White Album since I was a kid. Plus, all the records have the famous Beatles White Album cover. I'm going to start off with the stereo pressing that I have. I have two different stereo pressings. This one here I like for a couple of reasons. Number one, it's the first stereo pressing of the record that I got. It's the Mobile Fidelity pressing. It's in great shape. The records themselves are in really, really good shape. It still has the original certificate, which was cool. It used to come with Mobile Fidelity records. I know they include a lot of cool inners on their records now, but I don't think they include anything like this. Almost like a warranty card for a record, which is kind of cool. As far as the actual record goes, I know Mobile Fidelity pressings of this album, or Beatles in general, are very divisive. I like it. I think it's a really good pressing, and it's a good, accurate representation of the original stereo mix that George Martin did of the record. So I like that quite a bit. It's not something I would seek out if I didn't already have it, but I had it before I picked up a couple of other editions. So that's why that's kind of one that I listen to every so often in stereo. Then I have, following that, this here is the latest mono edition from the Beatles in mono box set. If you're going to listen to the White Album in mono, which many people know is the original mix, and you have differences throughout the record, like at the end of Helter Skelter, you don't hear I Have Blisters on My Fingers, things like that. If you're going to want to listen to the original mono mix, the Beatles in mono version from the latest box set is really the way to go. A couple of things are cool about this. It's got the original packaging where the records came out of the top of the package instead of on the outer of the sleeves, which pretty much every version going forward always had more of a general gatefold. It's still the same minimalist packaging, obviously, with the white on the front and the back, and then the 4 black and white pictures of the Beatles in there. But as far as audio quality, you really can't, if you're going for mono, this one from the Beatles in mono box set is absolutely the way to go. This here, the next one up, this is my go-to listening experience for the White Album now. If I'm going to listen to the White Album in any way, shape, or form, this is always the one I go to. This is the new stereo mix from Giles Martin, and in my opinion, this mix of the record is a masterwork. If you have seen the channel before, you've heard me complain about some of the remix things that I did not like on a recent reissue from Pink Floyd, and things that were done wrong with timing corrections and things like that. Giles Martin did not do any of that. There's no time corrections. There's no massive changes to what you're used to hearing, but I think he mixed the record a lot more balanced. If anything, on the original version of the White Album, I think that there's a lacking drum and bass sound, and Giles really did a good job in bringing those up and making it sound more like all 4 members of the Beatles were playing together on each song. If you know a lot about the Beatles, you know this was a insanely turmoil-filled time for the band, and many of these tracks were not recorded with all 4 members in the band in the recording booth at the same time, or even consulted on some of the tracks. But all 4 of them contributed to the recording of the tracks in one way or another, if not on the same day. And Giles somehow worked a miracle and made each of these songs sound more like a cohesive unit, and 4 guys that wanted to play these songs together. So this is my go-to pressing when I listen to the White Album, which, by the way, I feel like I should stop off and say the White Album is my personal favorite Beatles record. That's why I have such an extensive collection of it. I know that there's people that collect so many different versions of Sgt. Pepper's and other Beatles records, but for me, this is the one I love, and which is why I have so many versions. But when I listen to the White Album, the Giles Martin newest remix of it in stereo is absolutely the way that I listen to it. The last thing that I have is not actually a direct pressing of the White Album. It's a companion piece that came out around the time that the Giles Martin stereo remix came out, and it is demos from the White Album, which I think are pretty sweet. And again, same minimalist packaging. I think this is kind of clever. Same arrangement as the black and white pictures that are inside every version of the White Album, except for alternate pictures, which I think is cool because these are alternate versions. Nearly the same running order that you hear on the White Album, except these are very much what I call the building blocks for what became the record. You hear kind of some of the songs that were brought to the table that ended up in those big arguments that they decided, this is going on the record, this is not, or we're going to make this change or that change. Not required listening, but if you love the White Album, it's a really good peek into how it came about. And one thing that I do like that they included with it is a little inner sleeve that tells you a little bit about what things were like in the Beatles at that time, and some of the tension and where their head was at with songwriting, each of the four of them, and how they came together in one spot to really get this done in the best way that they could. So I do like that companion piece that comes with it. So having said that, as always, we do a bunch of vinyl rundowns here, and boy, just look at that gorgeous cover art. Here's a rundown of all of the different pressings of the Beatles White Album.